Welcome, Wildcats. I'm Mary Lisa Wood, your Student Organization Financial Coordinator here at Chico State. I'm here to help make sure your club is financially successful. In this training, you will learn all the ins and outs of banking on campus as a recognized student club. Let's get started. This training will cover the need-to-know essentials of accessing, spending, and managing your club's on-campus financial account. We will review university-specific guidelines, some financial best practices when managing a group account, where you can find the forms required for any spending, and providing you with some helpful resources to get the most out of every cent. Transparency when managing a financial account for a group is essential. It is the easiest way to build and maintain trust within your organization. This means giving regular financial updates on your account status at meetings, present all expenses to the group as a whole, including your advisor, and ensure you have majority approval for any spending. When functioning remotely, there are some great free online tools to help gather votes and responses, such as SurveyMonkey or Doodle. We don't want you to have to spend money out of your own pocket for club expenses, but sometimes it may seem the easiest option. Make sure to keep all receipts in a safe place throughout the semester. Any reimbursement requested must be accompanied with an itemized receipt showing the proof of your purchase. I know that lost receipts or vendor printing issues can happen. If you're unable to obtain a receipt or lose a receipt, please reach out to me directly and we can work through other means to ensure that you still receive a reimbursement. What the pup is a budget? Having a clear outline of what your club's goals are is essential to identifying what your financial needs are. This pie chart is an example of expenses you might see your club having. Start by asking yourself, how much money do we need to support our goals? What do we typically spend our money on? Where is the funding going to come from? Are we collecting dues, putting on fundraisers, reaching out to individual donors? As you begin to answer these questions, you can start to formulate a budget for your specific club needs. An important aspect of budgeting is keeping an up-to-date ledger of all expenses and deposits. Take a look at this example here. This is a very simple way to outline money going in and out of your club account. Having a column for the initials or name of the officer responsible is a helpful tool for group-managed accounts when questions or discrepancies arrive. You can also always reach out to me, your financial coordinator, for an updated balance and transaction report, but it is good to keep your own current and ongoing records as well. It may seem obvious, but it is important you know and understand that student organization funds cannot be used to purchase or reimburse for things such as alcohol, tobacco, drugs, or weapons of any kind. Remember, by being an official, recognized organization of the university, your club's choices and financial decisions directly reflect and impact the Chico State community. We have found that there's often confusion around revenue sharing and how it differs from your on-campus club account. Revenue sharing comes from students allocating $15 of their activity fee to up to 3 recognized student organizations of your choice. This happens during AS elections in the spring semester. The total of these funds are then available for reimbursement only in the following academic year. I recommend utilizing your revenue sharing funding before using your on-campus account, as these funds expire at the end of each year. The reimbursement process through your revenue sharing account does require a different process than what we will be reviewing in this training. Any purchases or reimbursements must start with an online request. These forms can be found on Wildcat Sync and the Student Clubs and Organizations Financial Services webpage. Make sure to include all required details and supporting documents. This may include scanned receipts, an invoice, student ID numbers, and current mailing addresses. Not providing all the necessary supporting information can lead to a delay in transactions. So please make sure that you have all necessary information with you before submitting your request. Advisor and officer approval is required before any transaction can be completed. Step 1, you submit your request. Your submission as an officer is also your approval to proceed with the transaction. Step 2, I send out a transaction approval email. This email includes all the details of the transaction requested, and your advisor now must reply with, I approve, before I can move forward. Now, let's get to spending money on the fun stuff. The university requires that all services be paid directly from your account. This means that no reimbursements can be processed for things custom created for your club, such as, but not limited to, t-shirts, hats, catered food, banners, and masks. I have a credit card, also called a P card, tied directly to your club account, and I am happy to make purchases on your behalf. This also keeps you from feeling any financial burden of paying out of your own pocket and waiting for a reimbursement. Not sure if an expense would be considered a service? Reach out and we can discuss the best way to move forward. The number one expense for student clubs is custom apparel, like t-shirts, sweatshirts, and hats. Design a logo that represents your unique organization. Need some inspiration? Take a look at some of the awesome examples of real Chico State student organization logos shown here. All designs must be approved before purchasing. Once you have finalized your design, even if you are using a design from a previous year, please email it to me before submitting your order to your vendor. I've put together a handy guide for these types of purchases too. You can find that online where all our forms live. Reimbursements can be provided via direct deposit by just taking a few steps to enroll yourself. Head over to the university's Accounts Payable homepage and click on Forms. Locate the form called Direct Deposit Enrollment Authorization. Fill this out and submit it safely and securely through the drop box on their homepage. Once and you're done. Once you have submitted that and been enrolled, there is no need to ever do it again unless your banking information changes. To request a reimbursement, you will need to submit the reimbursement request form found online. Make sure you attach copies of all your itemized receipts showing the date and proof of purchase. If you submit a reimbursement and have not signed up for direct deposit, you have a couple of options. If you are still attending classes remotely, you can have a check mailed to your current address in your student portal. Double check to ensure that that information is up to date. Or, if you are on campus, you can pick up a check or receive your reimbursements in cash up to $500. To do this, submit your reimbursement form online and bring your original receipts to the Student Services Center, room 230. Is your club planning to travel this year? It is important to know that the university considers travel to include any club-related activity that takes place outside of Chico City limits. We have specific university-required processes for the financial aspect of traveling. So set up a meeting with me, your financial coordinator, to discuss how we can plan for your upcoming trip and expenses. Being back on campus means face-to-face events are happening. Are you planning to fundraise and don't want to mess with cash? We have the tools to help. Chico State prohibits the use of cash-sharing apps for club transactions, but we have mobile credit card terminals free and available to you. As they are in limited supply, please reserve them in advance. They're easy to use and deposit directly into your club's on-campus account. Reach out to me or stop by the Student Services Center, room 230, to find out more. In this virtual age, collecting money for things like dues can be hard when we may not all be living close. We have made it easy with an online deposit portal. You can find this link on the Student Clubs and Orgs webpage and on Wildcat Sync. Please make special note that this platform is not for donations. Those still must be sent to University Foundation so that your donor can receive a tax-valid receipt. You might be wondering, what if our club has an off-campus bank account? Per CSU guidelines, that's okay, as long as you fit into one of the two following categories. Your organization is nationally affiliated, or you are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. If this sounds like you, please make sure to submit a banking exemption approval request. This is required annually or when your officers change or graduate. Failure to submit an updated exemption approval form can result in the loss of recognition by the university. You have now learned the essentials to banking as a university-recognized organization. The first thing you want to do is make sure and fill out and submit the account activation form, also known as the agreement form. This form is required at the start of each semester as it identifies the student officers that will have access to your account as well as your advisor. Your financial account will not be active or available for spending or reimbursements until this form is received. You can find it on Wildcat Sync and also on the Student Financial Services webpage under Student Organizations. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn the requirements for being a financially active student organization this semester. Reach out to me if you have any questions by using the email mwood18@csuchico.edu. I am always happy to help. Or stop in and say hello in the Student Services Center's second floor, room 230. I'm really looking forward to working with you and making this a fun and successful year.